Good morning, good morning, good morning. Sha'Carri Richardson. Sha'Carri Richardson is the topic of conversation for today. There's a lot to break down on Sha'Carri Richardson. She had a really tough performance, and I'm going to break down some stuff that the media really isn't talking about. You guys know I like to take the conversation to a different level and really talk about those things between the lines that you may not have noticed, that you may want to think about as you process what happened yesterday. So we're going to talk about Sha'Carri Richardson. We're going to talk about Nike. We're going to talk about black women. We're going to talk about what's really going on in the sport of track and field. So everybody take 1 second, get comfortable, hit the thumbs up button right now. We're going to get started on drboystv.com right this second.
Here we are, clearing the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent black people. You don't have to be that intelligent to be here, but you just got to want to be intelligent. And so if you value intelligence, if you value black family, if you believe in the B1 philosophy, B1 means we put black people first on this platform. It also means that we want to be one in order to be successful. If you agree with the B1's philosophy, put a hashtag B and the number 1 in the chat, hashtag B1. Please hit the thumbs up button as you do that. Hello, Marcus and Lloyd and Duel and Jasmine, and I see a lot of you in here. Abigail, good morning. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Give me a yes in the chat right now if you can hear me and see me okay. I want to make sure my audio and my mic is on good and everything else. All right, so how many of you, let me ask you all a question. How many of you saw what happened with Sha'Carri Richardson? How many of you are familiar? How many of you followed the story of Sha'Carri Richardson? How many of you saw what happened with Sha'Carri Richardson in that race? How many of you were kind of looking forward to seeing the race and were a little bit surprised by the result? Give me a guess if you saw what was going on with Sha'Carri. Okay, if you haven't watched the race, I think you need to watch the race. The race was really kind of shocking. Let me give you some quick background. I am a big fan of track and field. This week, Jeff Lightsey Jr. on the Black Boss Channel.com actually interviewed Ronnie Baker. Ronnie Baker was in the Olympics, and he got, I want to say 5th place in the 100 meters, which was a disappointment because Ronnie's such a great sprinter, and I believe he's the fastest man on earth. He just had a bad day. He ended up getting 5th place. But Ronnie's a good guy, and he actually ran on my high school track team, not at the same time, of course, because I'm much older than him. But Ronnie was here. He's a smart guy, and I respect him. And so I'm a big fan of track and field. I was actually captain of my track team in high school. I was a big fan of track. I would read track and field magazines and keep up with who had the best times and who the fastest man, the fastest woman in the world was. And also I was a track coach. I was a track coach with the West Side Track Club in Louisville, Kentucky, which is in the black side of town. And it was the best experience I ever had. I love supporting our kids, and it was a great experience and I'll never forget it. Plus I just love track. So I followed Sha'Carri Richardson very closely before all of the hype. I actually watching Sha'Carri back when she ran at LSU. I didn't see her in high school. She ran, I believe it's Carter High School in Dallas, which I think that school is known for producing some of the best track athletes in the world. I mean, they're just off the chain. They've been doing it for 40 years. And so I've been really watching Sha'Carri for a while, and I've been really trying to process what I'm sort of seeing, right? Process it in an honest way. I know that I think Sha'Carri is she's pretty young. Let me see. How old is Sha'Carri Richardson? I believe she's probably about 22 years old. So she's not that old. And she's 21. She's 21. So we're from different eras, right? I'm old enough to be her father. So I don't pretend to be able to relate to everything that I see with a 21-year-old, right? I try to just understand. I observe. I try to provide guidance as an OG, whatever the hell I am, right? Now, so here's the thing with Sha'Carri. Sha'Carri Richardson's talent is undeniable. I mean, that young lady is an extraordinary sprinter. I caught what was going on because you guys know I have a business mind and a marketing mind. I kind of saw what Nike was doing and what she was doing, right? In conjunction, I saw what her advisors were telling her to do, and I saw her picking up the FloJo vibe, right? I saw her, she left LSU early. I think she only ran 1 year, and she was an NCAA champion as a freshman, and she was that good. She was right up there with other great athletes like Athene Moe. What's the other sister's name? Sydney McLaughlin. Rye Benjamin, Michael Norman, just these great athletes who went pro early because they were just that good. So Sha'Carri was the best of the best because she dominated as a freshman. Sydney McLaughlin, who did the 400 hurdles with Delano Muhammad, is in that same category in terms of just these once-in-a-generation athletes. Athene Moe is probably the best of them all, in my view. Go check out Athene Moe. She's this tall, beautiful Black woman. I don't know what her origins are, but she's just amazing, like an amazing woman out of New Jersey. So Sha'Carri is a great talent, and I saw when she went pro. I wasn't surprised that Sha'Carri went pro. What really got my attention and made me kind of like saying, was when I saw her when she's picking up the FloJo vibe with the long hair, the long nails, everything else, and then she ran across the track and she was pointing at the scoreboard. I said, okay, so she's kind of shining for the cameras a little bit. She's playing to the audience, and that's how you get money, right? In this sport, track and field, a lot of people don't watch track and field. People like the personalities, right? That's why Noah Lyles will always, kind of do his thing. He's a great sprinter, one of the best in the world. You also had Usain Bolt. Remember, Usain would do the whole Bolt thing and all that. And that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's life. But the thing about it is that you have to have a hell of a lot of talent to do all of that. Like when you get into that showmanship in track and field, it can really, you're really walking a thin tightrope. I mean, sure, you're going to get the money, right? Because you got the attention. Attention is a commodity, right? Sha'Carri got all the attention. Give me a yes or no if you started following track and field just because of Sha'Carri, right? Drake and Nicki Minaj and Lil Nas X and all these rappers are talking about Sha'Carri Richardson because she's got the shine. The hard part about that is that when you bring that much shine, you got to bring that much talent, right? Because let me just tell you, Usain Bolt was able to do that. Usain Bolt was that much better than everyone else. Usain Bolt could jog and blow those dudes away. Like if you remember watching Bolt run, it was once in a lifetime to watch him because he was that damn good. It was extraordinary because I've never seen a man who could literally jog and beat the fastest human beings on the planet and make them look like scrubs, right? So Bolt kind of had a little margin of error. Bolt could come out there and do his whole, Jamaican, fun little thing or whatever. But you notice most of the athletes can't do that. They can't do that because track and field is competitive as shit. It is very, 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 did I say very? Competitive, right? The difference between first place and fifth place is a few hundredths of a second. Ask Ronnie Baker. Ronnie Baker, I'm gonna tell you, Ronnie Baker's the exact opposite of Sha'Carri Richardson. No, I'm not dissing anybody's approach at all. I'm not. You know me. I just like to tell you what it is. I'm not here to judge it. But Ronnie Baker, when he lines up to run, you don't see him doing no clowning. He don't do no. He's not playing around after he wins the race or whatever. Ronnie Baker's like. He's getting ready and he's real focused, right? Because you got to get pumped up because you're about to run against the fastest human beings in history. It's a little bit daunting, right? And then when he wins, he might do I did it. But that's very different. Saying I did it, bragging about what you did is a little bit different from bragging about what you're about to do. Right? When you brag about what you did, sure, of course, no problem. The sky's the limit. You can get out there and act a fool, right? You can get all the endorsements. But if you talk about what you're about to do, shit, you better do it. You better do it because here's what's going to happen at that point. The other athletes are going to look over at you and be like, who does this motherfucker think that they are? Who do you think he is? You really think pay attention now. how do you think those Jamaican women, and mind you, everybody's making this about the black woman, like, oh, everybody's beating up on the black woman, this, that, and the other. There were other black women in the race, in case you didn't notice. There were several black women in the race. I'm not sure. I think maybe somebody like a Jenna Prandini. I don't even know if Jenna Prandini was in the race. She's a real fast white girl. I don't think there was a white person in the race. I can't remember. I got to go look at it. Y'all tell me. Give me a yes or no if there was any white people in the race, right? So this ain't about, like, to me, this is not just like, oh, they're dissing the black woman. Because remember, those three Jamaican women, starting with Elaine Thompson Hara, I think that's her name, they black too. They black too. I mean, God didn't issue one black card for that race. He didn't just give it to Sha'Carri. He gave it to a lot of the women. In fact, let me show you. You want to talk about shining? You want to talk about, another example of black excellence and black girl magic? Look at these Jamaican women, beautiful as they come. Dominated the relay, damn near broke the world record, ran a 41 flat in the 400-meter relay, which is a very fast time, by the way. I believe it was 41 flat. I think that was her time. And I mean, you got Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, Elaine Harrod. Now, this other sister, I forgot her name. I don't have her name in front of me. But the Jamaican women are some bad-ass women, like bad as hell. So I'm just sitting down. Now, here's what I'm trying to get to, right? I'm not judging Sha'Carri's, reaction or pro-action or anything. I'm not judging that, but how do you think these women felt, right? Like a Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, who's been in the game for like at least 12 years or something, been dominating since Jesus was a baby. Like, the girl been dominating since Bernie Sanders was in high school. Like she literally has been like the queen of sprinting for a long time. How do you think they felt? When they're trying to secure endorsements, they're trying to get the same attention that Sha'Carri's getting. They're trying to get people to notice, look at how hard I work. Look at how talented I am. Elaine Harrod, literally ran the fastest time since FloJo. Like, if you're looking for the next FloJo, look at Elaine Thompson Harrod. Elaine Thompson Harrod ran a 10.54. 10.54 is nobody's run close to that time since FloJo. Right? Usually for women, if you run you can win a race with a 10.9 or a 10.8. 10.7 is really good. Sha'Carri's about a 10.7 something. 10.6 is off the chain. That's what they ran at the Olympics. 10.5 is like, oh shit, we're doing something real special right now. Right? The fact that she's that close to FloJo is amazing, because even Marion Jones could not get that close to FloJo, even when she used the steroids. Right? Even when she used the steroids. So let me just keep it clear. Like, I think that, I personally will say, if I was one of the Jamaican women, y'all give me a yes or no if you get what I'm saying, if you can at least hear what I'm saying. If I'm one of the Jamaican women, I'd be a little bit pissy that this young girl who ain't won no gold medals nowhere, ain't won no Olympics, right? I mean, the Jamaican women are decorated. They decorated like major generals in the military. Like, they got medals and badges and everything. Been in this game for a decade. So Sha'Carri comes along at 21 years old. It's talking all the shit, right? Like, attracting all the smoke, getting all the attention, making all the money, and hasn't really won anything major yet. I think those Jamaican women were pissed. And I don't know about y'all. Give me a yes or no. If you would have been a little bit pissed. You know what it reminds me of? There was this athlete a few years ago. Some of y'all might remember her name. By the way, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done it yet. There was an athlete a few years ago by the name of Lolo Jones. Anybody remember Lolo Jones? Lolo Jones was this hurdler. And let me just tell you the story about Lolo Jones. Because I did this. These are the things that, y'all know me. I don't just see it the way everybody else sees it. I'm seeing all the dynamics here. Let me share the screen. And after I show you images of Lolo, you're gonna know why Lolo got all the attention. So watch this. Check this out. I'm gonna share my screen. Here's Lolo. So this is Lolo Jones. So y'all tell me in the chat, why do you think? So Lolo Jones got all the attention. Now she's half black. Her daddy's black and her mama's white. Y'all tell me why you think Lolo Jones got more attention than the other athletes at the Olympics. Y'all tell me, what do you think is going on here? Look at the pictures of Lolo. What do you think caused Lolo to get all the attention to the point where nobody even knew who actually won the race? Nobody even cared. What do you think was going on right with that? Well, she's light, bright, and damn near white, right? And she, she seems to be a relatively attractive woman, even though the women who beat her were attractive. And let me tell you what happened in the Olympics. Let me see. When Lola went to the Olympics, uh, NBC did all these specials, and they did exactly kind of what they were doing with the Sha'Carri thing. They kind of they really talked her up and made it a big deal. She went to Beijing, and I don't remember what place she got. I got to look it up, but I believe she got like fifth place or fourth place or something ridiculously bad. Well, not ridiculously bad. I mean, I can't even get last place at the Olympics, right? So I can't even talk anything about an Olympic athlete. But you get the point. Like Lolo, they beat the brakes off Lolo. They beat her ass like she stole something. And let me just tell you, the hurdlers that defeated Lolo did an interview afterward. They were all interviewing together, and I remember they were salty as hell about the fact that even though these two beautiful black women who happen to be dark skinned had both beat the hell out of Lolo, all NBC wanted to do was interview Lolo. They literally went straight to Lolo and were like, "So how do you feel about getting your ass whooped?" And she's like, I don't know. Like she had maybe some Becky tears or whatever. And I don't even know if Lolo was participating in this, right? This is what media does. But, these women were kind of mad. They like, one of them was like, she's like, I have a story too. She's like, I have, my story is interesting. Like, why won't anybody pay attention to me? This is the person who just got the gold medal who was saying this. And I felt kind of bad for them, right? Because media does that. Media kind of picks their favored darling of the of the Olympics, and they follow these people and they make them bigger than they really need to be. And it creates a lot of animosity. It creates a lot of tension and a lot of pressure. If you go back and watch the interview, that Sha'Carri Richardson did after the race, right? The first one and the second one. I think the first one where she was clearly very defensive. She said, "You can talk all that shit if you want to," right? Which really, that's kind of like a hip hop culture kind of thing. Like, we're gonna just talk it, and I can't even talk bad about that, right? Because Muhammad Ali did a little bit of that, right? Muhammad Ali, the Louisville Lip, where I'm from, I looked up to Muhammad Ali, so I was like, okay, maybe she's doing a little bit of Muhammad Ali thing. But the problem with that though is that when you talk, you got to back it up. Ali backed it up. The question becomes, can Sha'Carri back it up? And when you're getting last place, you just have to, you know that comes with the territory. You're going to be made fun of. And also remember this, in the back, you saw the Jamaican women walking past the cameras when Sha'Carri was doing her interview. And I don't know if it was deliberate or not, but they were kind of smirking like this girl really thinks she's going to come out here and dominate a sport that we've been in for over a decade. Like Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, look her up, read her bio. She's decorated like a Navy SEAL. Like this lady has been doing this since Sha'Carri was in elementary school. So they're not going to let that go easy. These Jamaican women are really talented, right? So I think talking shit. I think the point that I'm picking up on is I think talking shit to the Jamaican sprinters is just not a good idea, right? And I think that what might have happened with poor Sha'Carri is at the age of 21, it's easy to get caught up in the hype. It's easy, you're like, mama, look, mama, we talk about a mom in a minute. Well, you're like, grandma, look, Drake is following me, and Nicki Minaj sent me a tweet that, said good luck. And that hype can be very distracting. It can get you away from the reason that you're there in the first place. And so I personally feel, I really wonder if she got caught up in the hype. I really do. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're building black-owned media here, and that's what we do. And my name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, in case you're new to the platform. And we have intelligent black conversations in this space all the time. And so we agree that trash talk needs to be backed up. She couldn't back it up. So whatever people are saying, they have a right to say. If they're clowning it a little bit, they have a right to do that, right? Because if she had won, then they'd be celebrating her, right? So you're taking a chance, but it's life. It is what it is. And let me tell you guys, I did a poll this morning. I like to see how people feel. And I basically asked on my Twitter. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. I'll try to put it on the screen at some point. Actually, there's my Instagram. My Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins. And I said, how do you feel about Sha'Carri Richardson before and after her most recent race? And I said, did she do too much trash talking, or she did just fine. That's another option. Or I didn't even care. 49% of you said I didn't even care. So half of you don't give a shit. Okay, that's your right. Cool. Now, of the people that did respond, 34% said she talked too much trash. 17% said she did just fine. So the percentage of people who feel that she did too much trash talking is about double the percentage of people who said she did just fine. So if you take out the people who didn't care, I was about two-thirds of you who were paying attention felt like she did a little bit too much talking. And I don't know. I'm not going to say she did too much talking because I believe in personal freedom. I believe it's your choice, just like it is with wearing a mask and taking, getting that government shot and all that. I'm a believer in freedom. Just do what the hell you want to do. Just know what it is. When we talk about investing, I always say, I'm not judging if you want to buy Dogecoin. Just make sure you know what it is. So with Sha'Carri, if she were my daughter, I would probably have said to her, now take your time, babe. You do know how good these Jamaican athletes are, and you do know in sports when people get the impression that you're talking a little bit of shit, that's pumping them up. Like when Michael Jordan would go play in the NBA Finals, they would say, the coaches would say, do not say anything negative about the other team in the press because you're going to get them pumped up. They're going to give their best performance just to prove you wrong, right? On the contrary, Jordan would try to find any little thing that they said to get him angry, right? Because anger is a fuel, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if the other black women in that race, believe me, don't forget, again, if you want to make it about a black woman thing, don't forget Sha'Carri was one of about 7 or 8 black women in that race, or maybe 9. I don't know how many were in the race, but there were other black women there. So let's not make this like, oh, they're doing this because she's a black woman. No, there's other black women in the damn race, right? Those Jamaican women, black women. There were American black women. Oh, was it Tiana Daniels? I believe that's her name. An amazing sprinter, like amazingly good sprinters who ran really great races, who were kind of overshadowed, not by an extraordinary performance. They were overshadowed by, a lot of yapping and a lot of posturing that Nike put on top of Sha'Carri. Like I think there's something when you're being egged on, it makes me kind of angry because I kind of feel like they wanted her to keep running her mouth, and I think that she was kind of manipulated in that way. Let me show y'all this little commercial. There's this Nike commercial. I don't know if y'all be able to hear the audio or not, but you can at least see the words on the screen. I can't share the audio. I don't know how to make that happen, but I'm going to play it, and I want you guys to kind of see this ad that Nike ran right before the race.
I've been waiting. Patiently waiting. Waiting to show y'all that I'm no one-hit wonder. Waiting to show y'all it's not what I've done, but what I'm about to do. Waiting to show y'all that I'm more than a news headline. Waiting to show y'all why I'm that girl. And if you need me, I'll be at the finish line. Waiting.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys give me a yes or no if you're able to hear that audio. I tried to share the audio, but I don't know how to. There was no button to do that. Let me know if you're able to hear that. But anyway, so here's the deal. So they ran this ad, and I get it. Nike was doing what business people do. They said, holy crap, this lady is bringing a lot of attention to the sport. She's getting a lot of mainstream people to watch track and field, which, again, with me as a track and field fan, I was obsessed with track and field in high school. I still love it. I watch it all the time. I was really happy about that, right? I thought that was really cool, but I kind of felt like it gave the impression, and then I saw a TikTok that Sha'Carri did where she said something like, it's game time, bitches, or whatever. And I don't think she was necessarily attacking the Jamaican, women or anything like that. But I felt like it was kind of something that could be seen as somewhat provocative. I'm gonna try to actually find that video so you guys can see it. But yeah, so it was kind of like she was really maybe you could argue that maybe she was getting a little bit ahead of herself. And that to me It's just risky. It's very risky because these Jamaican women are not average athletes. Like these women are really good. Like they're not just they're not just out here playing. Like these Jamaican women are really fast. And then the other thing that's interesting is that when you talk about the competitiveness of track and field, it's one of those things where your focus has to be there completely, right? And so I don't care about the whole thing about her smoking weed. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth. As a track and field enthusiast and as a person who has intensely studied the sport for many years, I'm not an expert, but I was a track coach. There's usually something sinister going on when you see an athlete drop from first place to last place, right? Usually there's something that's going on. And I'm not going to try to explain it because people who don't follow track won't get what I'm saying. But there's been an upswing in the performance of track and field athletes in the last few years. And I believe it's because there's some supplements that they're taking that are making them extraordinarily fast, right? Now, I don't really give a shit because I believe personally that a lot of people have done this. A lot of your greatest track and field heroes probably took a little something to make them faster. I think the rules just kind of changed. Like back in the day, you had Ben Johnson, who was, doped up like a horse. Everybody knew it. A lot of people said things about Flojo, but I'm not going to talk about Flojo because I know that's emotional for people. But when people get to where they have these extraordinary superhuman performances, regular people think, oh, it's just because they worked really hard, or oh, it's just because they were really focused, or oh, they're so talented. But the thing is that there's been an uptick in the speed of these athletes, right? And it's happening even down at the high school level. A lot of people are talking about high school. They're running times that they never ran, 10, 15, 20 years ago. So when I saw Sha'Carri drop from, 10.7 down to 11.1, that's a big drop. And what that made me wonder is, when you remember a month ago, you had the whole thing where she couldn't run in the Olympics because she smoked weed. And there was a carefully crafted narrative around that, right? Now think about this. Pay attention now. What did she say? She said, I was smoking marijuana to cope with the finding out about the death of my biological mother. Well, that raised my spidey senses because I said, wait, you found out about the death of your biological mother. Like if my mother died, God forbid, I would probably just say my mother died, right? I wouldn't say I found out about the death of my biological mother. So that right there told me that there was something interesting going on with in terms of the mom. If you Google and you search for information about Sha'Carri's mom, Sha'Carri's dad, there's nothing there. There's nothing. I can find nothing. I was Wikipedia looking everywhere. If anything, maybe if you have something, feel free to tell me what you found. But I found nothing, right? And so that told me, like, okay, so there's a complication there. It's being carefully covered up, and that's fine. Maybe it's none of our business, right? But then again, if you are seeking attention, then a lot of your life becomes other people's business, right? Like I used to get mad when people would talk about my wife, online, and when I got married, people, there were people who just said the craziest things that weren't even true. And I when I was mad about it, I was like, well, you know what, boys? You talk in public every day, so that comes with the territory. Just get used to that. And I do, right? It's life, right? So with Sha'Carri, I do wonder what's going on with the mom. Like what's up with that? With why is she your biological mother and not just your mother, right? Oh, I get it. Okay, so she's probably raised by somebody other than her mother. And then also this marijuana narrative. Just being quite honest with you. Again, I hope I can say all this and still be loved, but I felt like there was something else going on. It reminds me of Christian Coleman. A lot of y'all don't know. Give me a yes or no if you've ever heard of Christian Coleman. Christian Coleman is also a Nike athlete who is, in my view, if he were out there, he's the fastest man on earth. Christian Coleman is the guy that would have won the Olympic 100-meter dash, in my view. Christian Coleman he couldn't run because he got suspended. Why did he get suspended? Well, because every time they tried to show up to his house to give him a drug test, he wasn't available, right? So they call him and say, hey, we're coming to your house to test you for performance enhancing drugs. He's like, oh, I'm at the mall. I can't make it, right? And he did that repeatedly. So eventually they said, you can't run because you keep missing these drug tests, right? Well, what do y'all think that is? I mean, you could say, well, no, he was just at the mall and the mall was full that day. Man, if somebody from your job is calling you and this is like, you got millions of dollars on the line and they're like, we need you to make sure you're home by 2:00. How many of y'all gonna be home by 2:00? Seriously, right? So, we know what it is, right? So when Sha'Carri is like getting suspended, because she was smoking weed. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of people smoke weed. I know that, and I'm not judging. I don't care. But it was kind of like, I think there's more to that. I really do. I'm not going to say that she, now we know weed is not a performance enhancing drug. Weed does not enhance your ability to do anything quickly, right? At least not most weed. They got the synthetic stuff, which you really need to watch out for that because that stuff will make you crazy. But whatever, weed in its natural form does not make you faster or at all, right? So we know that it wasn't there because she was trying to get some sort of edge on the other athletes. But it did make me wonder, was this a mask? Like they have masking agents that can cover up something else. Now, I didn't find any evidence that it was masking something else. But here's the thing. In my view, I'm not sure. I got to research this, but I'd be willing to bet you that when you get banned for any performance enhancing drug, your testing level goes way up. Pay attention now. This is my point here. That the scrutiny that they put on you, they put the spotlight on you. So they're checking you more than they're checking everybody else. So that means you can't mess up. You can't take anything. You can't take your usual whatever, right? And so I'm wondering if it was the reason that we went from 10.7 to 11.1. Very big gap. Their athletes almost never drop there. Go look up the 100-meter dash, and you cannot find an example of any healthy athlete that I can think of who, within a matter of weeks, dropped by 0.4 of a second in the 100 meters. That does not occur. It might be, a tenth of a second here, maybe 0.2 of a second if it's a really bad day. 0.4 of a second, that's a big drop, right? So I think, I don't know how Sha'Carri could have or should have handled this. I think at the very least, my thought is, again, I don't judge, like when Marion Jones got caught with whatever, I didn't even judge that. Like people wanted to make it like, oh, she's a bad person and blah, blah. I didn't think she was a bad person because I believe a lot of athletes dope. I believe they do. I believe that you have to do that in this sport. A lot of them do in order to even run at that level. Like Usain Bolt, running that speed is not even humanly possible in my opinion. But then again, maybe I'm a skeptic. So let me just stop that because I don't want to get into that debate. But my thought is, if you know that you're not fully ready, this is the point that I'm wondering about. If you know you're not fully ready to perform at a high level, to run against these Jamaican athletes who are running superhuman, like otherworldly, alien technology level speeds, it might be a good time to kind of shut the fuck up. Like I don't know. I'm not telling the Lord knows I ain't gonna tell no woman or anybody to be quiet. But I would probably be like, those Jamaicans ain't playing with you. Like they're going to really show up and they're going to really run fast. So maybe we shouldn't even run in the race at all because I don't think she was ready. I really don't think she was ready. And I know it might be controversial for some people, but I kind of, and I saw that she withdrew from the 200 meters. She's not running the 200. I would have probably said, look, here's what you do. Tell them you pulled your hamstring in practice. We're about to bow out for the rest of the season. And we're about to lay low until we can even the playing field and get back to our regular routine, if that makes any sense, right? So the last thing I will say on this is, when I saw before the race, I remember thinking, man, she's talking a lot of shit. I hope she's ready. And in track and field, that's very dangerous to do all that shit talking because athletes don't really do that. But then again, that's hip hop culture. Hip hop culture is a rare culture where they kind of encourage that. I don't know if that's, don't get me wrong. It's just risky, right? Then after the race, I felt like she was very defensive. If you saw, she was like, well, talk all that shit if you want to, right? And I get that. She's 21, you're emotional. I understand all of that. But I kind of feel like it's just things are just kind of stacked against her now, right? And the thing is that given the track and field is so competitive and so difficult, I've seen a lot of great athletes at that level who are great one year and then gone the next. I would not allow the attention and Nike and all the hype and the money and everything else and all the clout that you're getting on social media to distract you from the basic objective. The basic objective is go to practice, do what you got to do, show up as the best athlete you can be, and then you might have a chance to compete with the Jamaicans. But let me just tell y'all, just as a track and field enthusiast, Elaine Thompson, not a joke. Elaine, ain't nobody good. If that lady runs at that level for the next 2, 3, 4 years, ain't nobody beating her. Ain't nobody's beating her. So because remember, Shelly Ann Fraser Price was actually the fastest woman in the world, I guess a year or two ago, right? And Lane has like surpassed all of them. So I don't know. I didn't like it. I felt like it was all a fiasco. I was not surprised. I knew she couldn't beat the Jamaican women, all of them, but I didn't know it was going to be as ugly as it was. And it was ugly for two reasons. One, because the performance was so far off. And then two, the post-race interview was something that she probably should have been coached on a little bit better. But she kind of cleaned it up a little bit afterward and let everybody know she was emotional. So somebody is in the background guiding her, and I think that's good. But I think she needs guidance all the way around the block. Like y'all know me. I'm old school. I believe everybody needs a daddy. I believe all young women, young men need a daddy, right? Because I know that if that were me and I was up there yelling like that at the age of 21, my father would be the one on the phone saying, "What the fuck were you doing?" Like no, we're not doing that, right? And I hope that she's not letting everybody else's hype take her away from what she's got to do, because it's going to be very painful and very stressful for her. I mean, you think she done went through a lot to this point. Where do you see what happens when you're not meeting expectations because you set the expectations so high for yourself in the beginning? So I wish Sha'Carri Richardson the best. I'm a big track and field fan. I'm going to continue to watch, and I hope that her career continues to evolve. I want to encourage everybody, though, if you want to see some black women really kicking ass and taking names in track and field, just know that there's a whole lot more black women out there besides just Sha'Carri. Who was it? Your girl, Gabby Thomas, went to Harvard. She's a 200-meter specialist who's damn good. She ran on the 4x1 and all that. You got Sydney McLaughlin and Delilah Muhammad. Delilah Muhammad comes from a great family, and they have this great rivalry in the hurdles. Check out Athing Mo. Athing Mo is the best of them all. Athing Mo just broke the American record in the 800 meters. So I think that for those of you that want to actually make sense of all this, just know the world is bigger than just Sha'Carri, right? And the good thing that can come out of this, in my view, is that we can support all the sisters that are out there doing their thing. And then there are a lot of brothers that are doing great things. You know, guys like Fred Curley and Ronnie Baker and Noah Lyles is running with his brother Josephus, who just had a personal record. You got Michael Norman, Rai Benjamin, who ran in the greatest hurdles race of all time. He didn't win, but he broke the world record. But the guy in front of him, Kirsten Warholm, broke the world record by even more. Like, there are a lot of really great athletes out there that I hope you'll pay attention to and not just get so caught up in what's going on with Sha'Carri. I know Sha'Carri is a topic of conversation, and there's a lot to unpack there, but and I wish her the best, but the world's bigger than just one person, and I think that actually doesn't just help them, it helps her too, because I think that's a lot of pressure to be under at the age of 21. Maybe I'm just making things up, but Lord knows, I mean, shit, if there was a reason to smoke weed to deal with the pressure, this is pressure. The pressure on her now, in my view, is greater than it was 6 months ago. And let's just keep it 100. You know, even if she does everything right, she still might not be able to beat the Jamaicans. Those Jamaican women are not playing, and they deserve all the respect that they're getting right now for being the great athletes that they are. So anyway, that's it. That's my 2 cents. By the way, on Wednesday nights, we're reading Dr. Claude Anderson's books. We're reading Black Labor, White Wealth, and Powernomics and stuff like that. So if you want to join the book club, you can go to blackkeystogreatness.com. The URL's on the screen. It's totally free. It's Wednesday nights at 8:30. So if you're into learning things like why we deserve reparations and the true history of Black people in America and kind of what we've gone through and how that shapes into the wealth gap and all these other things, we do deep dive studies on this topic. So you can join us for free at blackkeystogreatness.com and get free access to my life class. Also, I want to remind everybody that the All Black National Convention is happening at the end of October. The All Black National Convention is where all the Black folks that want to do better, that want our community to win, get together and we make plans. We talk about forming a Black political party. We talk about crypto. We talk about stock market investing. We talk about relationships. We get together and we have things like speed dating, and we're having a masquerade ball and all kinds of stuff. So if you'd like to join us in Orlando in October, bring your family, go to allblacknationalconvention.com. This is completely paid for by the Black community. We came up with this money. We didn't get money from any corporation. So this is not, Black leadership brought to you by McDonald's. This is actually us doing our thing. So if you'd like to join us, go to allblacknationalconvention.com to get your tickets. And you want to get your discounted hotel, we have a few hotel slots available. You can go to abnchotel.com to get your discounted hotel. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Good luck to Sha'Carri Richardson. I wish her the very best. And it was fun talking to you guys. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I will talk to you guys soon. Be good. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.